arguments out there that you can make. But, you know, I'm not opposed to going through those business registration fees once every 5 years to make sure we aren't overcharging people or to make sure we're charging enough. Yeah. You know, I'm not opposed to that at all in admin and finance. It's just, we just did it, what, 4 years ago, you know, so I think.
I'm just saying that would be good information to start collecting and having as actual costs. Because, when you increase it by, what was it?
5 times.
Yeah, 5 times. You want to be able to justify it and show it as it moves forward. And again, I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying that we need to be able to show it.
Well, we did show it 3 years ago. We did.
And I'm saying.
And so, I mean, I don't know.
We need to be able to have those numbers for this presentation.
Do you have it already existing in a slide you can just pull?
No.
Exactly.
No, I don't have anything like that because it was from 3 years ago when we did business registration fees. And I don't know how much staff time is being spent on short-term rentals because we just lumped them in with all the other businesses.
Right. Yep.
And they were one of the more expensive or, you know, time-consuming businesses that we have. So they got lumped into the $250 bracket. So, you know, I think we'd have to do some type of cost analysis of all the different business sectors that we have and determine, you know, which ones cost more, you know.
Which I thought we did that.
We did, you know, and we just kind of lumped all the higher ones into 250. We didn't separate them out farther than that, you know.
But I remember conversations about that we weren't going to do, and I think Dennison
made
a
very
good point not to do that because then you're singling out and you can't single out certain businesses.
Right.
So that's why we lumped together short-term rentals with hotels.
Hotels, restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anyone, whatever our categories were, we made them very general, but basically it was that's okay.
It's based on like what they have to supply the city, like short-term rentals, they have to supply certificates and, you know,
licenses for, inspections.
Just like the restaurants and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So, I believe that's why those all got grouped into there. And I think that amount was picked and those put in there because of the requirements and the more things that staff has to make sure.
Exactly. Thank you.
Their registration.
Right. So, I mean, I mean, short-term rentals are paying no more than a restaurant or a hotel or motel.
Oh, no, I get it.
Period. Yep. So I absolutely feel the $250 is justified for all of those higher.
And it needs, tonight it needs to not be more than a 27-second conversation.
Yeah.
It's just here's the cost, here's the administration fees. You can see there is a cost of administering this. This is our effort to help offset that. Next slide.
Perfect. Again, that's all I'm saying is it just can feel it's justified. You need to prove it's justified. That's all I'm saying.
And you could maybe put it in this slide.
That's what I was thinking. I'll just add a sentence there. Approximate cost of administrating short-term rentals is currently whatever
it could be a star bullet.
Yeah, exactly. Hard cost. Because I'm like, because that other stuff is like a whole other conversation. So
we're not trying to give somebody a 4-year chem degree. We just want them to understand.
Right.
This number is not
arbitrary. Well, and that's what we were trying to do here, where we say that they're only utilized for administrative costs for that. I mean, that's what they cover. They pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you can get me a number, I'll
work on that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and here's our registration fees for the last 3 years. And our resort tax revenue, as you can see, short-term rentals are a big contributor of resort tax and have been, and it has significantly increased. So I don't know, this could also include the, maybe their nightly rates are going up. It doesn't actually include frequency. There could be a lot of different things going into these numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely shows, obviously, that our busiest quarter is July through September, as we all know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no surprise.
Yes, no surprise there at all. So the city brought in $195,000 in resort tax in 24-25 from short-term rentals. So they're definitely an economic driver and, of Red Lodge. So, including all the jobs behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Can we ask a quick
Yeah.
question? So our, guys are here that are working on we're trying to get our sewer line fixed and stuff. Is it gonna be disruptive if they can just walk through and start getting their equipment downstairs? Is that gonna bug?
No, I think we're fine,
Yeah.
thank you.
Nope.
Thank you
Flushing
for
toilets
checking.
is important.
We've had kids.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yep.
told them 9:30 in the morning, they said, well, we'll get all our stuff out and ready, thinking, well, around 10 we'll be ready
Yeah,
to go.
that's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll live.
I think we'll probably get the rug laid down first.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, and here's the graph showing the resort tax, the increasing resort tax revenue, and then, and the quarterly resort tax, revenue. So,
Lots of graphs. I went
Yeah,
nuts
lots
with
of graphs.
graphs.
lots of graphs.
And one thing I do find interesting in that Q1, showing the year after year on it, in 22, 23, just seeing how far down we were, because every other one, you've seen a steady progression that's pretty consistent, but that particular year, there's that big gap, and that was the year of the flood.
Yeah,
And so it's just, I
It was
think, really
devastating.
telling.
It affected the whole town.
Mhm.
yep, it was absolutely devastating, so.
Yep.
you know, the-
So, yeah, I thought that was
Okay.
just telling, which is nice.
So this just shows, this side, how important the software has been, not just, initially bringing people on board, collecting $74,000 in back resort taxes, bringing 86 short-term rentals on board online, that had been, sliding under the radar, with no inspections, no public safety measures probably
Right.
enforced at all. The main reason why we implemented this was for public health and safety, so that everyone, had safe places to stay, and, so,
And level the playing field.
and level the playing field. So, and the city staff can absolutely, talk about the importance of continuing to have that short-term rental software, even though switching over has been hard. It's a much-needed thing in
Yeah.
our
It says
community.
there were 111 short-term rentals in 2022. Or is that what?
And then we brought on 86 additional,
Yeah, that
and
year.
86 additional is
Yeah.
what I would,
97. So we were like at 197, 190,
and
you
I
know,
would
it averaged
say
out.
additional.
Yeah.
And I would add identified and brought on.
Yeah.
So that they understand the correlation.
I think that's,
Telling me here.
yeah, more so instead of just saying 86 rentals happened that year, more so 86
No,
rentals that
this
were already
tide has been in
there.
here for 3 years, all right, you guys?
There's always opportunity for improvement.
That's right.
The day of.
We didn't
Okay.
drop the ball, we're just,
The appropriate response is, thank you, sir, may I have another?
I know. Okay, so change it to there were 100 lows and additional.
Or identified by the software.
I would just say identified and brought on, because otherwise it'll get too long.
Yeah.
So that would make a total of 97 then?
Yeah, but I think were we at 197 or 196? So someone might have dropped off.
it was 197 that year, and then 196 the following year, and now we're up to
Those two numbers brought it
211.
up to 197.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Because the way it reads now, it's like if there was 111.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why you see an increase of managed properties.
Right, okay. And then TBID, fees collected by short-term rental management. As we all know, well, we should know, TBID collects $2 a night from hotels, motels, beds and breakfast, short-term rental companies that have 3 or more properties. So not every short-term rental collects TBID funds.
Yep.
And all funds for TBIDs are used to market Red Lodge, support local events that create heads and beds, and distribute educational pamphlets to visitors, which are very important. They're great little pamphlets about, how to behave in the wilderness, how to be a good steward, of the places you are visiting. Basically, everyone wants our tourists to be better.
Should there be something out there that this is a volunteer, donation, a volunteer?
I
not,
would avoid
so.
using that too much, just because, yes, it is a
'Cause they're not
voluntary.
required.
No,
Okay.
that we opted in, so you are required.
Yeah, they're
So
required.
essentially what it is every 10 years, TBID has to go around to the parties and measure how much land they have, and essentially get all the stakeholders to vote to put this into place. Once it's voted and put in place, it is mandatory, and there are fines if you don't do it.
But it's not a city regulation,
It is a city regulation.
is it?
It's within city, the city actually is the one that established this district.
Okay.
And when we have people that don't pay, we contact the city to have
Pull
them
them in for-
reach out. So it is in concert, essentially. Even though it's being administered by the CBB, it is still a city program. So,
That's another thing Danae does.
no, she doesn't. I do it.
yeah.
It's administered by the CBB. So if we've only had one instance in the past 5 years that I'm aware of where we've actually had to go and try and collect. Otherwise, everybody's been really good about it. So
So-
again, and we only have companies that have 3 or more properties, so it's not each individual.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that we can do voluntarily is people outside of that district do volunteer in. So like, for instance, Rock Creek Resort. They can opt in to be included. They don't have to. And then, for instance, we collect and opt in to collect for our out-of-town properties, even though they don't have to. So, yeah,
Okay.
So who creates the pamphlets?
the chamber does.
The chamber does?
Yep. And we
that's
pay
where
them through the
pamphlets are
CV.
Located?
Well,
Besides the, hotels and.
Motels, yeah.
So
And-
they're distributed, nationwide. Essentially, part of the biggest expense of TBID is the Beartooth Highway pamphlets and the distribution of those.
And they're great
the chamber-
pamphlets,
The chamber creates it and distributes them to the T-bid.
yes.
And then, yeah, TBID basically just pays for it and goes through and edits. So that's about it. But yeah, we pay the chamber a decent amount of money for advertising and creating pamphlets and creating marketing. They also manage and maintain the website and the webpage. So we actually pay a contractor fee for Jenny Zimmerman that we split with the chamber for specifically marketing materials. So we're actually paying for the chamber's graphic designer and marketing team.
Okay.
And it's $2 per night per unit?
Yes, correct, yes. And so because all the short-term rentals are not included in this, it'd be wonderful if they were, because then you could just pay 2 divided by the number, and you'd have the number of days that somebody stayed.
Mhm.
But, they're not all included in it, just the ones who own 3 or more properties.
Yep.
So, all right, and then here's the wonderful graph for that.
Graph.
So, yes, graph. And then hotline calls, this is always kind of interesting. At 2024, there were 5 calls total, and 2025, we had 5 calls total. And it's just kind of funny that, you know, one of them was like on outside 24/7. That's not against any city ordinance that we have. So, you know, they get called in for a variety of things, as we can see. But it was mainly trash,
And-
off-leash dogs, lights on outside, and 1 noise complaint.
We may need to specify, that's the calls that come into that system, right? We
Yep.
don't track or know a number for if they're calling dispatch.
Well, yeah, that's just it. We have a hotline associated with the short-term rentals, and these were the calls that the city received. The other calls would be not.
I was wondering why trash and off-leash dogs was bundled. And I'm wondering if it was one person with 2 complaints, but I just found that interesting. That
Yeah.
trash and off-leash dogs to me is 2 different issues.
Unless the off-leash dogs were creating the trash.
Potentially.
Or
That-
in the trash, yeah.
Yeah.
Or pooping and people not cleaning up their shit. Sorry. Got one. There's my
That
one.
was
That was a wasted one. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that. I'll try to go through and, edit it, if Bonnie wants to get me that number today.
And then just a
How's
note,
audience
And then
For-
this presentation will then be available.
online? Yeah,
Online.
last year's is available online, and so was the, did we do one in 2023? Yeah.
I don't think we did one in 23.
We did, no.
When,
Yeah.
when you go on the website, where do you go to find?
Resort, no, it's under short-term.
Should be under
We'll
short-term
figure it out and make it easy to find, and
Yeah.
among other things, it'll be a search.
Uh,
And when you do it, do you print it to a PDF, or do you need help printing it to a PDF, or?
We just save it as a, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's not an edible, we have both out there. So we save, on the city, Danae will keep a copy of the the shared one.
I was just offering assistance if it was needed to put it in the form that's easier for consumption.
Okay,
When you, finalize it, just email it to me,
okay,
and then
Yeah.
we'll get it put on the website.
okay, perfect.
And if we can know where that is by tonight, we can share that information.
Okay,
And just one note for those graphs, I did build those out to where it's really easy to add data year after year, and it'll
Okay,
just
perfect.
generate those graphs from now on. So,
okay, perfect.
that will save a lot of time and energy, and anyone can do it, so.
Yes, perfect.
An easy edit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we will have that presentation tonight. Hopefully it'll be a lot quicker than we just went through.
Right.
So, there we go. Okay, let's go on to ordinance, 907 and 963. We have those up for discussion tonight. I know, Chelsea, you worked really hard on those updates, so.
I think 907 looked good. I didn't see any issues. I do have some questions on 963.
Well, I'm sure we do. Did Dennison and Danae all get a chance to review these as well, just because I know they probably haven't seen them in 2 years? I think I sent it to them a couple weeks ago.
I'm not sure.
If you'd resend it, and it's not critical that it's a today turnaround because we've got several weeks before it's there, but yeah, I think it'd be nice if somebody says, have these been in front of you, and say,
Yeah,
they've been sent off.
yeah.
We do not have feedback yet. So, how's that sound?
I don't wanna make it sound like they haven't responded back either, but just say, we did send that off and action wasn't tonight, so.
Okay. Where do you want to start, Chelsea?
I'll let them leave it to you guys. Go ahead. No.
I just,
I did all the work. You tell me what you want to change.
Do you wanna share,
Sandy, do you have any questions or?
On which one?
Either, whatever you want to start on, because it kind of goes.
963, I just, there was lots of extra verbiage. I mean, even the title, an ordinance of the city of Red Lodge, Montana to regulate short-term rentals. Do you really need to say within city limits?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's the original ordinance. That's the original
Oh, so
language
because
to
it's the
that.
original, it
Yeah.
needs to stay there.
Because
We can't
Think-
regulate it anywhere else.
no, but,
Okay.
and, so if somebody comes and asks, and it says, that if you're not in the city limits, then it doesn't pertain to you.
And I noticed on the second page under B, there was terms used licensed again. I understand the first I, licensed through the state of Montana, that's correct. Under II, property manager may be the licensed owner.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good
I
call.
think we need to remove the word license. Same with licensed property
Oh.
manager. But licensed property manager is a different story, but the owner doesn't need to be licensed.
No, they do if they are a professionally
Oh,
managed
yeah.
short-term
Nope,
rental.
that's right.
They have to do that.
The first one gone, but the second one needs to stay there, because they're actually licensed through the state. A property manager is, but not an owner.
Well,
No,
no,
the owner, in order to qualify for the property managed short-term rental,
Yep,
class 2, they have to be a licensed property manager.
yep. So
It can
they're
be
saying
the
that they
owner.
are a licensed, they're the owner, but they're a licensed owner.
They have
Not-
a they're a licensed
Yep.
property,
They
like
become the
Sean,
licensed owner
Right.
of it.
because
Yeah.
like Sean is the property manager for Bastion's short-term rental.
So
So-
he becomes a licensed
Licensed owner.
Yeah.
Should
Just
say
'cause he's-
state license, or something
It
to
says
signify
license.
what kind of a license they
License.
hold.
Well, only the
State of
state
Montana.
can,
Right, but you're questioning,
Can
it
license.
just says a licensed owner. What
Owner
are they
bothers
licensed?
me.
Are they licensed by the city, or are they licensed by the state?
Yeah, that's a good
who are they
call.
licensed by?
Yeah.
I
By the
just
state.
think that the word should be pulled out. Property manager may be the owner.
Yeah, honestly, I'm okay with that. I think considering the management portion above.
I think though, but you got two categories. What you stated was, in this category, the property owner has to be
A license,
a licensed property manager.
exactly, that's what we're trying to
So for
say.
The office staff, in their clarity, if somebody comes and says, well, I'm the owner.
Yeah,
It says right here, owner.
yeah, it has
You
to
need
say
expand
license
that to
somewhere.
say that they're a licensed, state licensed property manager
Fun.
and the owner.
Which
Yeah.
is already established in the first,
No, but but it has to say it there, because we're also saying designated licensed property manager or property
oh, that
management
one I
company.
understand. It was an owner can't be licensed.
Yes, they can.
Well, then they're not a property manager.
They're,
You could be, so if
Oh, I guess
I
you
was
could.
renting my house,
Oh, you'd be a licensed,
I'm a licensed property
Property
manager,
manager.
but I also own that house.
but you're not a licensed owner.
Yeah, no.
So that's where I.
So I just updated it, and we'll just make sure that this is all cool with
Yeah,
everybody.
It's unnecessary to put that in.
Property manager,
The
property
security staff's gonna have
Manager may be
someone
the
from the
owner.
outside.
Property manager may be the owner with a property management license.
thank you, that'll work. Yeah,
Designated licensed property manager or property management company.
yeah, perfect.
Done.
That fixes
Easy
it.
fix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Under C, number 4, an owner may choose to rent A on their property.
Oh, yep.
I'm not sure what A was, and A, I don't
I
know.
think it'd be an ADU.
Maybe. I don't know.
And
What is that
a
missing word?
separate,
What if it's to rent their property such as? What if we
They
got
choose
rid of
to
A
rent.
on
Yeah.
their property,
I'm good with that. My bet is,
such as?
yeah.
So we just.
An owner may choose to rent their property such as separate living quarters, ADU, et cetera, without restriction of total days available for rent.
as long, yeah, under owner occupied.
Yeah, my bet is we had two sentences going and we chose one.
Yeah, I assumed that it was probably, now, temporary short-term rental, this is the first I've seen of this, and it's really rather interesting.
Mhm.
How
We-
many of your?
Were you not on, maybe you weren't on admin when we talked
She
about
wasn't,
that?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and we brought
I think
it,
that it's really hard to
Yeah.
jump in on a committee with.
So let me just tell you the thinking behind this. This is for people who want to leave for a weekend and, you know, it's their full-time.
They get on Harley and.
Yeah, they getting out on 4th of July, you know, maybe even the whole month of July, they just don't want to be here.
Yeah.
So they want to rent it out short-term during that time. That's a temporary short-term rental.
And I totally understood that, but no more than 60 days throughout the year. So my question to property managers is how many of their properties are rented less than 60 days a year?
very few.
But so some of those actually are temporary short-term rentals.
Yeah, but I think it's also different in terms of how this is stated. So specifically, it has to be their primary residence, I believe,
Yeah,
determined by the,
we need
yeah.
to put that in there. It has to be their primary
Yeah, I
residence.
didn't see that part.
Yeah, we do need to add that.
Yeah.
It has to be the primary residence. It can't just be anyone. It has to be, you know, it's for a citizen of Red Lodge. It's their primary home. We don't want to take away their ability
To
to,
rent it sporadically. and-
yeah,
And I understood that, but then when I
Yeah.
saw that 60 days, I just remembered from my days that there were some
Yeah,
that's good
properties
input.
that aren't rented 60 days a year.
yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's a few that I only rent in the summertime
Yeah,
that, I mean, they're only available 90 days a year.
or the
Yeah.
opposite, where they're only available.
But
during
here's
the
also the
season.
piece too, to remember with that, with the temporary, is, the property will only be listed as available during the dates designated by the owner, no more than 60 days, so available
Availability,
60
which is
days.
Right.
different from.
Which is very different than not renting 60 days.
Yeah,
I know.
Because that
So-
would literally be like 2 months of the year it's available.
And I do
so-
think we need to add that it
But
has
yeah.
to be your primary home.
Yep.
It can't
So,
be,
how many, is this, are temporary short-term rentals included in which category of the three?
they're exempt.
They're
Yep.
exempt.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's very important we put in there that it has to be your primary home.
Yep.
It has to, you know, yeah.
I'm gonna find where we had that language before.
Do we
Yeah.
have something in that they're exempt from the,
We are Not in these definitions, no.
Not in the definitions, but yes, later.
Down later it will be, yes.
Okay, so that's why I was saying, some of these places aren't rented 60 days ago.
Right, so there'll be some very strict guidelines, like number one, it has to be a primary home. Number two, you have to pick the days that it's available when you register. I'm not gonna be here the entire month of July, or I'm not gonna be here just Harley
It'll be
Rodeo
available
weekend,
during the winter
or over
earlier.
Christmas break, because I'm gonna be someplace warm.
When you say exempt, what are they exempt from?
The cap, the 20%.
But they're not exempt from registering.
Anything else.
Yeah, they still have to go through all of the process.
Yeah.
No other exemptions.
Yeah, public
Yeah.
health and safety is still number one. You can do this, but you still have to get your health inspection, your fire inspection, you still have to register, you still have to pay resort tax, but you're exempt from if we ever hit that 20% threshold.
Okay, under regulations, the second paragraph, the short-term rental owner must comply with all of the applicable local, state, and federal laws, including but not included to city business registration, resort tax, blah, 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 fair housing, building code, health department, loss of any required permit or license, or resort and revocation of short-term rental license
Oh,
registration. I think that second license needs to go bye-bye.
yep. Hold on a
The
second,
first
I'm
one
still
is
working
fine.
on, still working on adding this here. Just give
Because
me
I
one
think
second.
the first one is fine, because you could lose your property management license. That'd be a required license.
All right, let's see.
That's the tail end of that paragraph.
Yeah, hold on a sec. I'm still, editing residential, or the temporary, where I'm trying to get it to format correctly, and it doesn't want to, and it's very frustrating. Me. Are you serious? There we go. Okay, now which page are we on? Thank you.
At the top, the paragraph starts with short-term rental,
Okay,
and we just need to zap this
gotcha. Perfect.
tail end. And the next paragraph refers to it the same way. City approved an application for short-term rental license registration.
Gotcha.
So we have license there again.
I bet you that's from when I copied it over to the non-red lines where it kept,
And I was gonna compare the two and thought, no.
oh, yeah, no, it's a mess.
Yeah, I'm coming in way too late to compare the two,
Okay.
but I thought about it. Does that count?
Yeah.
So that was those two. Then, on application procedure for a new business registration certificate, and we've discussed this before, and I don't know where we went with this. Number 3 is the applicant's required to provide either an employer identification number.
Mhm.
That means that they have an employee.
Mhm.
No, you can,
Employer identification numbers is an employer.
it
You're employing
is, but you
someone.
can still have an employer identification number without employees.
Yeah, you
Because
technically
my
count
mom
that.
and dad had a partnership, and they had a
And-
separate tax,
But
employer
how
ID.
about, or SSI? Do we really want to deal with ID numbers that are
Again, I honestly,
viewable?
end of the day for me, I feel like the EIN is unnecessary, and what's really important is the IRS, or not the IRS, but the lodging facility tax and the use
I
tax.
hate that the city should be responsible for IRS taxes. We're not a tax police. So why we would need to have an EIN or SSI for the IRS?
Where are you at on this? I'm sorry.
So
Number
we're
3.
under application procedure for new business registrations. and
Okay, thank you.
Essentially, what the purpose of this was during the discussion was to prove that it's not just somebody opening up shop in their house, that they're taking this seriously as a business. That was the whole intent of it.
Yeah.
Now, that being said,
We're not the tax police.
right,
No.
I personally don't see a purpose for this.
I would rather see applicant is required to provide, a lodging facility, sales and use tax permit issued by the, I would rather just stick with that, rather than tell them that, you know, we have to worry about the IRS identification numbers, which I don't want the staff or anybody else to be responsible for somebody's for security
Well,
number
and I don't think
EIN.
that makes them responsible for it. It's just showing that they are a business.
But if somebody's identification is,
Well, if somebody's identification number is, it can also be your social.
I know,
I mean, that's
but I
your
personally don't
business.
want my social on any application
That doesn't have to be on.
that doesn't have to be on.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's not asking for a social. EIN is different than a
But-
social,
but
and
you
so
have-
Something
is,
that you register
But
with
you
the
have to,
state, with-
Sandy, hang on. It says right here, applicant is required to provide either an employer ID number issued by the internal rep or a lodging facility sale. You don't have to provide it. You can provide your lodging facility sales and use tax instead. It's an or, it's either or.
it's showing a level of professionalism is what they're
Yeah.
looking for.
So it's
And to me,
fine.
I don't find it necessary, but I also don't mind that it's there. It's one of those things that I'm kind of mute on
I'll
it.
go with you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
I
if
didn't
it were
like
you must provide that, it'd be different, but it's either or.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't like it from the beginning, I still don't like it.
I don't either, but it's not something I'm willing to die over. Like,
Yeah.
it's not that hill I'm gonna die on.
I'm not gonna worry about it.
I agree with the idea that I don't want to create any additional work for staff, particularly if there really isn't a point or purpose for it.
Yeah. Again, I don't see a need to have it there. It's nice having the lodging facilities, sales, and the use tax. It does show a level of professionalism, but showing that level, we are creating a level of professionalism with this application at the city level, and that's what should matter to the city. What they do what they do with their state taxes and what they do with their federal taxes is not our business.
No,
We're
but this
not-
shows they're following the rule.
It does.
And I think it needs to stay there.
Okay.
And like, you either have one or the other, period.
Yep, I'm okay with it.
And you're following the rules, you're showing it, just like, you know.
Yeah, either
It-
prove that you're paying the feds or prove that you're paying the
Yeah.
state, one or the other.
Again,
You don't have to
tax-
pay
Tax
both.
police, that's tax
Well,
police.
well, no, because we're not saying that they're paying, we're not policing that they're paying it, we're just saying that they're registered.
Yep.
And they need to be registered if they're gonna do business.
Next group, procedures, the third paragraph, fourth line down. Use of registration certificate will be determined by the remittance of resort tax to the city of Red Lodge, period.
Oh.
Or something. And then an exemption will be granted.
Easy, got it.
And, they'll pay. Revoke, the business will be required to apply as a new or for a new business registration certificate. You're applying for
Yep,
a
Yep.
certificate,
got it.
okay? And then the new section, which you guys put in, property management companies and holding companies. There's no definition for a holding company. What are you talking about?
I think it's LLCs, trusts.
Is that,
Basically, it's saying that on top of us having business registrations for the property, I also have to have a registration just to have a business,
Like your
because it's an
secretary.
additional business.
it's the term holding companies that I
I don't mind that.
suffer with.
Yep. Yeah, I don't even remember where that came from, honestly. I think it was because they didn't want folks operating like a trust or,
An LLC or a.
yeah, they just, it was additional funding, essentially.
This struck me as must have come from Denison.
It might, honestly, it could have been a Denison addition. Frankly, that there's a good chance of that. So
without
I
a
don't have an
definition-
issue.
Without a definition of a holding company, I think it puts in a level of question
Yeah.
in here that's not clear. And then the last sentence explained why. This is due to the fact, we don't need to explain, this is due to the fact that the property's in a manager independent. I don't think that we need to explain why there's an additional registration. I mean, otherwise we're gonna be explaining everything, why we think we should do this. That's just, when I read it, it's just like, why are we explaining that?
I think Chelsea's right, I think it was a Denison thing, so.
Yep.
I don't know, or the attorney could put it.
Yeah, again, I don't have a,
Oh, we'll just have them look at it again
Yeah,
and maybe say that we had a question with the term holding company, that wasn't defined anywhere.
And I think that's why I have it highlighted.
Yeah,
It's just like, this seemed weird.
it does seem weird.
Yeah, I think that's why it's highlighted, because I also had, this is due to the fact, I thought that was odd that we had to describe that.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it, but
Yeah.
like, at the same
Yeah.
time,
There was a question, I just looked
Yeah.
at it and went, this is the first we've heard of a holding company. Short-term business registration limit, the second paragraph is very awkward. And, it should sit, like, 55% of the total number of STR registrations available shall be reserved for. Does that make sense? Because it says 50% of the limit registrations,
Well, that's why we have,
of the total would be,
total allowed.
or available, 55%, because it's basically 55% of the total available.
well, it's the limit because there's an available, I mean, you can have more than 20%. If we have the cap of 20%, we can have more than 20% of our residential units be short-term rentals because we have exempt ones.
Right,
So we have to say it's 55% of the limit.
okay, well, if you're okay,
In there somewhere. I mean,
I
you
just
can't just
saw
say 55% of
that
short-term rentals.
it was just awkward and weird.
Yeah.
And then, the remaining 45%, as defined herein, I don't think we need the lawyerese as defined herein. I would just put a period after available to general short-term rental.
Okay.
I don't know, and again, it's, limited stated herein. I hate the lawyerese of words that absolutely mean nothing.
Well, it's here in the paragraph.
It means that it's defined here, not, I think it,
Yeah, period, it's defined, it's just like, this is a statement, but anyway,
I don't have an
that's
issue with
my
here
own
in.
personal
Me
thing, is
neither.
to cut more words than,
That's fair.
the last paragraph, if a registration has been revoked or has expired, the SDR business will be required to apply as a new business. This is that as and for, that before it was for a certificate, this is as a new business, not
Oh,
for a
gotcha.
new business.
Or maybe it's for a new business registration.
Oh, I guarantee you that it was,
You either have to add registration or change it and do it as a new business.
I'll just put registration on this one.
Yeah,
The other one, the other one.
because if it's expired, you're still an existing business.
Right.
You know, it's not.
That was there. Should the limits be reached, the business will be placed on a waiting list until an existing registration is available. Why do you have to say expires and is not renewed or has been revoked? How about is available? Again, 8 words versus 2.
I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Because who knows what could happen besides expiring, not renewed, revoked, gosh knows.
That's probably about it, isn't it?
So far.
Either it expires, it didn't renew, or it's revoked. I don't know.
Just like, if it's available, the next one that's available is really. Under applicability, of course I did this yesterday, so total number of dwellings in the city of Red Lodge, as determined by the county authority.
Where?
Dwelling units in the city of Red Lodge, established by the county authority, or?
In the event
It's
limit is reached, the waiting list, no.
It's determined because they're not establishing it. They're actually, there's an actual number out there that they're determining that number.
And the county authority, we don't know, he doesn't have a title, they don't have a title.
Sometimes it changes, that's why they left it as.
It was fire department, now it's county
Yeah,
So that's why.
that's why it's,
authority.
Yeah, because it may be DES, it's.
We don't know
we don't.
where the numbers are coming from. And in the last sentence, the same thing, where it says new registrations when existing registrations either terminate or expire or not renewed, and then I put on here revoked. I thought, when existing registrations are available.
Okay.
And this is probably a Dennison, I'm guessing too, the third paragraph. Well, the second one, of course, no provision of this title. So the third one is no provision of this ordinance. So are we gonna go with title or ordinance?
Well, they're talking about two different things.
Okay, shall be construed as an attempt to exercise any power that, I just think it's silly. No provision of this ordinance shall be construed as an attempt to exercise any power that applies to or affects the standards of professional or occupational competence established pursuant to MCA Title 37 as prerequisites to the practicing of a profession or an occupation.
I'd say that's Dennis, I mean, we should leave that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say, this
Yeah.
Yep.
definitely isn't,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no.
legalese, but legalese are important.
Especially in an ordinance when you're affecting people's livelihood.
Yeah, and again, I think that is fair, especially considering that
I'm
it's
not-
about registrations and requiring licensing and, yeah.
None of us in this room are an attorney, so
that's
we
right.
will
Thank
leave that in
God.
there.
And then the paragraph, I understand why it says what it says, but it says a lower price or moderate price dwelling that receives financial support from the city. What if we change that, financial support from any governing body?
Oh, no.
No, 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 no.
Mhm. Again, one, we don't get to
Only
dictate. Yeah, I think it should only be
They-
city.
These are for like the home funds that we had set up
I
and stuff
remember,
like that,
that's why
yeah.
I knew it was
So
from the home
if,
fund.
if the city helps you buy
We
your,
still have those out there, don't we?
not very many,
They're
There-
slowly, I think,
it's going away, yeah.
I don't know, I think
I-
it might be to the end.
The most we had was 15 years on those, so there shouldn't be any more out there, because they were all 15 years
Because
ago.
they all time out on it.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that it's still, we still gave them money, like if they're still living there, and we still gave them money to buy their house. They may not have that 15-year payback, but we still gave them money to help buy their house.
So they still, the
So
city
this would stop those people from
selling.
from using it as a short-term rental. So you have to think about that,
Yeah.
you know, like there's, I know one family that bought their home that way, two families, and, you know, we're stopping them from having a short-term rental in those forever. I mean, is that fair?
I don't know about forever, but,
Well, that's what that says. Oh, the
Oh, yeah.
lien instrument, never mind.
yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
never mind.
secret.
Right,
Legal
okay.
policy.
I have another meeting, so,
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
You have another meeting?
thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's wrap this one up real quick.
And the last page, annually, the city will review this, a presentation will be provided to the public each year.
Yep.
So if we can just add each year,
I'm good with that.
that was my,
Okay.
Do we have to do that every
for
year?
that.
Do we have to do
I
that
would
every
like
year?
to add a comment that's just so it's here on the record. Unfortunately, I looked down several minutes into the meeting and noticed that the mic was not on,
Oh.
even though we were recording.
Oh.
And so this will just go as documentation in the end of the meeting, that what was in the first of that meeting was actually just the presentation. You'll be seeing the slides, but have no sound. That presentation will be showed tonight again as well. So if you'd like to hear the dialogue that goes along with it, turn into the city council meeting, and apologies on the tech.
Will it be no sound on the recording too?
There'll be no sound on the recording for the first 15 minutes or so.
Sorry.
I'm glad I took notes. Okay.
Well, we have the pre.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we will be reviewing that tonight, and if we have time, we'll be reviewing 907. I don't know, we have kind of a packed agenda tonight, so we may not be able to get to great discussions on both of those tonight. It might have to be just more of an overview.
I mean, it's in
um,
the packet, so yeah, do an overview, say it's discussion, tell them that we want it up for action next time.
Okay.
Well, the one of them, the first one you did, which was the business registrations,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah, that can be very, that's short. Here it is. Any concerns with that being up for action?
Yeah.
And that's an ordinance, so it'll have two readings.
Yep, they're both
Okay.
ordinances.
And the only question somebody's gonna say is, I wanna make sure it's been through Dennison before we get there. And that's
Okay.
fine, because that was the plan.
okay.
And then the other one, just keep it really short. We made headway, but it's not done. We'll keep you posted.
Well, we kind of wanted to
I think
do them
it's
both at the same time.
And I think it's done.
It's done. They're both done.
Okay.
But it just, I don't know that we can have a great discussion on both of them tonight, an in-depth discussion is my
And
concern.
my concern is,
To have them
is
up
that
back
you made
next
enough
time.
changes to that second one.
Oh, that's fair, we did make it,
Yeah.
but it's mostly small edits.
They're small edits.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not like,
The context.
context stayed the same, like, we didn't change any of that,
Right.
it was,
Yeah, ask your peers, I'm fine either way.
Okay, yeah, I just, if we get, and it's 8:00 by the time we get to
yeah, I mean, I
our
get that.
stuff, this may have to get put off, I guess, for action until the second meeting in January, not the first.
I
That's all
don't
I'm
have a
saying.
hard preference, I just feel like we're finally ready to go for it, and I'm okay
Yeah,
with it.
I know, I do, I agree, I want to get it done, I
Well,
want to
they've
get it.
already seen it, right?
Yeah,
And you're gonna have several weeks, you're gonna have 5 weeks, I think is what Ann announced in the last meeting,
Yeah.
Yep.
to read this information between now and then.
yeah, so we'll have
And
so
be
much time to
completely-
review.
And completely forget it.
I will. I didn't wait. What's a short-term rental? I don't even know anymore.
Yes, okay. Okay, I made those edits to the presentation, so if you just get me that, I'll add that before tonight, and we will be good. Any other comments before we adjourn?
I have a
Yes,
suggestion. Many years ago, I signed up to be notified of all the meetings and
Yep.
so I always get notices of meetings.
yep, Google Groups.
Our council people at yesterday's meeting were belittled to a certain extent that they weren't notifying their constituents.
Yeah, that's,
And because this is available, what is the process for those constituents who are not signed up for notifications to be on the list? There should be something to hand them
Yeah.
that says this is, or
mhm.
somehow you need to get their information onto the list. I
So they,
signed up a long time.
yeah, they
Yeah,
have
I've
to sign
been
up
on there
for
for
Google
years.
Groups. They have to sign up for Google Groups, so we need to be able to tell them how to do that.
Well, again, I think it's just on our website.
So I think that's,
So we need to tell them where to go on our website to sign
Yeah.
up for Google Groups.
because then
It is,
the responsibility falls back on their shoulders, that they need to
Absolutely.
get off the couch.
yep, it was implied that I needed to go door to door and tell people when these are going on, and that's.
exactly what I was told to do.
Yeah, and that is not a reasonable request at
So
all.
It occurred to me that I'm not lacking notification of what's going on.
Yeah, no, I get,
It's just apparently they're lacking
The knowledge
the
on
knowledge of how
How
to
to
sign
get
up.
that, how to get that information.
Yeah.
So somehow you need to be armed with a here,
yes.
this is what you need to do, and you will get notified of all the city stuff.
Can we put a link out on the city website to sign up for Google Groups and then share it
ooh.
on Facebook
I-
and share it on,
I will check to verify, I thought we had one, but.
I know,
I just
but
don't
if
know
you could,
where.
yeah, if you tell me where, I will share it. I promise I will share it everywhere that I possibly can on my personal
There's
page.
Stay Connected under Resources. Join on Facebook, join on YouTube, sign up for text notifications,
And that's what I'm on.
and then sign up for email notifications.
Yes.
So that is a page on there.
What page is it on?
It is under Resources and Stay Connected.
Thank you.
But you know, the biggest complaint that we've heard is that nobody knew about this pilot program.
Yep.
But, so they're not gonna get notified from the city about the pilot program.
Yeah, because it's not our
It's not our
program.
program.
And that's what I told him too, it's just like, they're like, when you found out about this, you should have told us, and honestly, I almost said it last night and I didn't. That, frankly, I didn't think it's gonna be as big of a deal. And now I know, now I've learned. On that note, have we adjourned this meeting yet?
Yes, meeting adjourned. Thank